Hi, Donna, Cleveland. How is...
No, he's going to be in Columbus.
Oh, he's going to be in Columbus, right? What am I thinking?
Right.
A little far away.
Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Okay, my problem, well, I've got a couple of them, but the one I'm, really concerned with right now is finances. And it seems like I've always had a knack for getting money, but I don't hang on to it for some reason.
Yes, and actually, I see you standing on guard. Like I have to, I'm on guard in front of, these little piles of money. Like I have to watch them. And okay, thank you. And I'm seeing a past life here where you had, you did have some money, and you were. Oh, okay, thank you. I'm seeing some sort of betrayal, and there is somebody in this life who has manipulated you. Maybe did not betray you financially, but in that past life, the same person betrayed you financially. I don't know if you can identify this person yet. It could just be a manipulation, but there was an absolute betrayal. It could be a betrayal in this life too, but not necessarily financially. In a past life, it was financial, and therefore you had lost some money, and this is what I call a reversal of fortune life. And when you lose your money in a past life, you code the belief that it's not safe to have it. It's not safe to accumulate it. You get it, but you can't accumulate it because that means it'll be taken away. Someone will betray you. Do you see what I'm saying? So we have to re-script that and let ourselves see ourselves accumulating lots of wealth in the past, lots of wealth now, and affirm it's safe for me to accumulate lots of money. And I have okay, thank you. And Spirit is showing me these affirmations, and I'm attracting wealth and sustaining it and living a wonderfully abundant life. I attract abundance in wonderful, unexpected ways. And as you do this and re-script that past one where you had the reversal of fortune, and somebody might still be manipulating you, honey. I want to set aside some energy and just do some releasing toxic attachments and toxic patterns from the past. Because this manipulative person actually financially betrayed you in a past life.
How do you get rid of that? Or reverse that or heal that? Did you say something?
You do some releasing affirmations, and now I have a very strange technique to tell you. If I have somebody that I need to separate their energy from mine, I freeze the name. And it's a very easy thing. You get a lemon, you get a little piece of paper, and you write their name, their whole name, and then you put a yellow circle around it. And under the yellow circle, you put so-and-so is sealed in the light, and put their full name. And then you fold up the paper and put a little slice down, not cut the lemon in half, but just slice it and stick the paper in it and put it in the freezer. This is not ill wishing. This is wishing them to be sealed in divine light. And then they don't have to manipulate you. I have told this to hundreds, maybe thousands of people, and I get responses saying, "Oh my God, they stopped being mean."
It worked, yes.
I did this with someone who drew a totally fraudulent lawsuit against me, and it was dropped within a month. So you can do that. If you know the person that's manipulative now, you can do that and just seal them in the light.
I love that. That's a great technique. Thank you so much for that.
Sure.
I have a question before we move on to another callers. I think I told you this story when you were on my Gaia show, but I went on a family trip a while ago to London, and we took a train to Windsor. And I had this strange obsessive experience there where we got to Windsor and I wanted to go to the Windsor Castle. I was really, really drawn to it. And when we got there, it had closed. It was just about to close. And I went into this very strange, devastated. So I was devastated that it was closed, and I had to stay there overnight. We got a room that looked right at the castle, and I was staring at this thing all night, looking at it going, that's my home. I needed to be in there. And even the next day, we were first in line, and I walked through this castle, as if I had walked those halls over and over and over again. And when
you have. You absolutely have. And I'm getting goosebumps. So that's corroboration. Spirit is telling me. And that happens to us. We're drawn to the places that we have had powerful lives and enjoyable lives.
It was,
Not all our lives are miserable. We talk about those a lot because that's what we have to change.
It was
But
so
we're really drawn to the places where we've had enjoyable times.
And I could tell you the horse stalls and the schools. I even at the gift shop afterwards, I bought a hand towel because I felt like it was mine. We do
That
weird
does
things.
not surprise me.
It's strange the way that it takes a hold of us. And
Yes.
and
Except I have to tell you, Lisa,
What?
that in that life, you would have never picked up a towel. In other words, you would have never been in the kitchen.
Oh.
You were part of the nobility then.
I love that. What did I do wrong this lifetime? Why am I doing so many dishes?
Well, okay, there's still a part of the intellectual and spiritual nobility in my book.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it is. I give that story because it gets a hold of you. It grips you until you.
It
And I still have the book in my closet. It stares at me of the Windsor Castle, but it's it's just interesting because it does take a hold, and you can't explain it.
And, in those cases, you don't have to. If it takes a hold in a way that it makes you feel sick or it makes you feel powerless,
Right.
then you really have to go into it and say, hey, let's look at what happened here and rewrite it. But in those cases, you can just enjoy it and